I've got this feeling of impending doom because things are just going too well. Like last time I started feeling like this, I instantly got banned.
Soon, Dom.
Oh yeah, no, it's happening soon. Like something bad's gonna happen. Like I'm literally just gonna have like a meteor crash through my house and just kill me. Like something bad is happening. I just don't know what it is.
I hate that premonition. It's like Final Destination.
Look, if I die in the next like 2 weeks, just go to this, and at least like I will have predicted it. It'll be some like Babe Ruth shit.
All right, clip it, y'all. This is the July 15th episode 20. Is it 25? 25, where Dom will have predicted his Meteos coming through.
11th.
Is it the 11th?
Yeah. What?
Oh.
Wait, 2 weeks? Wait, 3 weeks from now? Wait, what?
Yeah, that's right. Whoa, sorry, yeah, we have to predict the future.
All I'm saying is like all these league analysts are like flaking on their predictions. Like if I'm able to predict my own death by random like cause, then I just win that award. Like none of these other analysts can ever f me again. It's just over.
All right, well,
no doubt.
There we have it. I wanted to start things off with Ella checking in with our the head of the church. It's LS. You had shared some stuff earlier this week about your health, and then gave us an update. Just wanted to get an update because a lot of people reached out, not only to you, to me, maybe to Dom about just sending you well wishes. Okay, well, a lot of people reach out to me to reach out to you and send you well wishes. So how you feeling, boss?
Yeah, so I got multiple series of like testings, and I did a lot of scans as well, and I have hypothyroidism, but it's sort of good news, in the sense that like it explains a lot of stuff that's been going on the last couple of years that didn't make sense, because if anyone like followed my stream for a while, I started complaining that like nothing was really changing in my life, and yet I was getting like weird symptoms and like weight gain that I couldn't explain. And so that was kind of weird. And then this last time, I mean, I found all the stuff that I tweeted about by complete chance. And the reason that I found it by complete chance is like the last, I would say, month, I was really strict on diet and exercise. And one of the things I sort of noticed is that like my energy levels and the weight loss that I should have been experiencing relative to everything that I was doing and people I was talking to about like where I should be at within like a month time frame wasn't like sort of matching, and I just decided to like, okay, I'm just gonna go for like a full body checkup. So I actually went to the clinic, and I asked them to check my hormone levels. And I asked for like a full checkup, and the doctors initially didn't want to do anything, but fortunately they did. And the first series of tests, issues were detected, and then I had to do the other series of tests. So that was pretty good. So I mean it's pretty much good news. My kidneys, there's abnormalities with my kidneys, liver, and heart as well as my thyroid, but the thyroid diagnosis came through. I was taking medication, and then I was taking supplements that they think maybe could be affecting the kidneys and liver. So stopped that, and then I have tests again now in 3 weeks, but I'm already on the thyroid medication. So
good.
They're pretty confident that I can just get that completely back to normal. Then I have more tests in 3 weeks, but everything's pretty good, I guess. Because it was pretty doom and gloom for like 2 days, dGon. I didn't know what the fuck's going on when you hear that you have that many issues going on. It's pretty fucking scary. I talked to a lot of people.
For sure.
Yeah, T1 was very, very, very supportive behind the scenes with everything going on. So I was talking with mostly them, and I was talking to like friends and family and other stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, again, on behalf of the community and everyone that's had the opportunity to work with you or interact with you, we all are glad that you figured out what was wrong and that there's a path forward. Learning about your health is very important, and I'm glad that you're able to figure it out. So cool, brother, and thanks for sharing too. That's not everyone wants to do that. So appreciate you
It's
being
crazy
able to
what
do
like 7 seasons of League will do to a man. That's just ridiculous right there.
All right, with that, let's hop on in. Not only seven years of League, but like 7 weeks of the summer split, dude. 6 weeks down. The 7th week didn't even start before shit started crashing and burning. We'll kick things off with recapping week number 6, or just, I guess, everything that's happened in general. Because this show is running on a Thursday, right? Today's Thursday. Running on Thursday rather than our Monday. We got extra content. So, Dom, where do we want to start? Do we want to recap upset week? Do we want to start with the Bud Light cooldown? Where are we going?
Let's talk the Bud Light beheading. Let's just begin with the beheading, and then we'll get to the gameplay afterwards.
All right. So with that, for those of you that did not see, Counter Logic Gaming, after going 1-2 and winning El Clasico for, I guess, the 4th time this year, they defeated TSM 1-0 in their match on Friday. They dropped 2 games, and CLG released a video of a private meeting with GM Tafo, telling the players that, hey, this is the last time we're going to play together. Would have been different if we went 3-0. Instead, we went 1-2, so we're going to be making changes. And it was sponsored by the Bud Light Lead Lounge. Yeah, that's the premise of it. Dom, go ahead. Why don't you knock this one out of the park for us?
Well, I think the most hilarious thing about the Bud Light beheading is, like, it shows how disconnected the people that work at CLG are with the reality of the situation. Like, I'm sure that they didn't release that and they're like, this is going to be a fucking meme. We're just going to get shit on for this. This is a horrible look for our organization. Like, I would assume that when they created that piece of content, they were thinking like, damn, look at how, like, transparent we're being. People are going to think that this is like that our fans are going to be so happy that we did this, so they have this insight into the team. It's so brave of us to do that. Like, they thought that was going to be the response, and just the fact that they actually saw that video and that was what they thought shows how delusional the org is.
LS.
So for me, so obviously this was during my period of like inactivity on some socials and stuff. I mean, I was still somewhat active, but not totally. For me, one of the thoughts so I'll be honest, this was a weird thing for me. Didn't Cloud9 do the exact same thing?
Yeah, and it was horribly received. And that was a winning team. Like, so now you're a fucking dog shit team and you want to do that.
So that one was, and I feel like the players' responses in the Cloud9 one was actually way worse. That was I think recorded on camera. This one was obviously kind of like out there, but yeah, I don't know. And then the whole transmission, or like to Bud Light. I mean, it was I don't know.
The cool smooth jazz. It's like, and you're all gonna lose your jobs. And it's like. It's like, what the fuck? Like people are there, like you just hear like Poe Belter in the background. It's like, please just give me one more chance, man. Like, I need this money to pay hospital bills for my family, man. Just hear the smooth jazz just come in like on next week's Bud Light beheading. We'll see if we bench Broxa.
So
like,
one of the things that I think one of the things that I think the public didn't read into is that I genuinely believe that when Tafo said, had they done another 3-0, there might not have been changes. What I think the public isn't reading into there is that I don't think that's Tafo actually thinking in his head, if we go 3-0, I won't make any changes. I think I think from like language that is generally used, or like pressures that are used behind the scenes, is that Tafo's actually just saying probably what's happening from someone who's above him. Right, where if the team actually performs again, Tafo can probably just go back and say like, no, everything's on the up and up now, and then they probably hold off. Right, I from all my years in esports, that's the way that when Tafo said that line, I interpreted what he was saying, was that Tafo was out of options to exhaust to delay this inevitability. But had they actually gone 3-0, Madison Square Garden would have been able to be held off. Right, but someone at Madison Square Garden who doesn't play League of Legends, or maybe they do play League of Legends and they get 2 out of 6 on the first wave and co-op versus AI. What ends up happening is they're like, Yes, change the players. Yes, and Topo has like nothing that he can say, because even though he's the acting general manager, it doesn't mean anything because there's people above acting GM. So it doesn't, So that's the way I interpreted it.
I'm sorry, I'm only dying because your 2 out of 6 versus AI reminds me of a time where I used to work for an organization. So go ahead, Dom.
Well, I mean,
2 out of 6, no doubt. Go.
The thing for me that is so absurd is like, even if that's the case, where you are going to like, there's like no area where I can look at this and I'm like, that's where it makes sense. Because like, let's say you're just on like the strict like winning side, right? Like I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna pretend that the LCS teams are in the league and their number one goal is winning, right? If your number one goal is winning, why would like saying that you're looking to replace the players that might have to play next week, like why would telling that to them motivate them at all to like go out and fight for your organization or go into next week of scrim with like an improvement mindset? Like imagine if you're just a player and it's like I gave this analogy on the Crackdown, but it's like telling the chef that you're about to replace that like you need him to cook like the best meal ever. It's like he's gonna spit in your food, like it's gonna be disgusting what happens, right? So why, like I don't understand how saying you're gonna potentially bench them, it's like we're looking to bench you guys, but we might not be able to. We might not be able to find anyone to replace you guys. So if they go into the next week with the same roster, they would have been like, shit, like, damn, I guess I couldn't find anyone to replace us. Like, I'm definitely gonna try my hardest this week. It just doesn't make sense from a winning standpoint either. No. So like, at what angle is this actually a good decision?
I think I just posted the angle in the chat. I mean, for you to see, you just wouldn't get it.
Okay.
Like, that's
I really wouldn't get it. I actually just don't get it at all.
Jeez. Yeah. I think it comes from a transparency mindset, and there's a lot of losing there for the org this year and over the last several years, and when they were starting to turn like a 3-0 week is like such a boon. Winning fixes so much, and I feel like CLG thought that they had fixed so much with that 3-0 week, press our comp, and since then I think they've gone 1-8. The only win was against TSM, so they win a whole rotation of match against the whole league, losing. So I think it's just transparency there, and I think I was watching Summoning Insight.
Who the fuck needs that much transparency? Like I think that there's too much transparency. That's like if I have like a kid, right? And then before school, it's like, you know what? Like League of Legends content isn't doing it for me anymore. Honestly, like we're losing money. We might have to move up. You should be worried. All right. Have fun. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's some things where you just need to figure it out first and then come to them with a result.
No.
Like, you don't actually need to be this transparent.
No. Pools and hot tubs section on Twitch needs to be more transparent, if you know what I mean.
Hey.
Yeah, true.
Look at that. True. LS, a classy kind of guy, making changes for
no
the rest
doubt.
of us. Well, the change came on through, and it came on through in the form of the mid lane. So before we get to the mid laner, let's go to our tweet of the week. Young Pobelter getting Bud Light aced right there with the waves. Bud Light perfectly placed. It was a great response to a tough situation for Pobelter. And that means CLG made the move. It's time. No longer content creator. He's back on in. It's Tanner time, y'all. Damonte back on in to the LCS. This time over as a CLG starting mid laner. What do you make of this one here, LS?
So I feel like I read a lot of the comments on it, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's just running a bottom team. It's a terrible decision." Yada yada yada. I don't think it's actually a terrible decision because I think he gets at least 1.5 years worth of juice out of the contract. And the reason I say 1.5 years is because he'll finish out the remainder of summer, and then he'll sit on a paycheck because they don't go to Worlds, right? So he just gets a really healthy paycheck during off season. And then next year in spring and summer, there's no fucking way, even though it's CLG, there's no way they're gonna can him. So he gets 1.5 years worth of financial security, whereas the position that he was just in leading up to this was he was like trying to transition into content creation, but obviously that was not going well whatsoever. And I'm not trying to like be an asshole or anything. I just mean like actual like YouTube views and everything else. It was not going good. So this is the best case thing that he can actually do in his position. and you can't. It's one of those fucking things where it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. He just doesn't have an option. I think he just has to accept.
And he did. Dom?
Like his life. He just has to accept.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a situation where, like, it's not going to harm him much. If CLG still sucks, people aren't going to be like, fuck, it was Damonte.
It's Tanner.
The team. Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, the team is so fucking bad that...
Bring back Pobelter.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you get a couple comments like that, but it's not like they were winning with Pobelter at all. Like, they were getting shit on with both, right? They're probably going to get shit on with both. So I feel like it doesn't really make him look much worse. But if there is any uptick in CLG, now he'll get, like, all the credit. You know, be like, damn, it's like his positive mentality and, like, you know, the fact that he's just like a real Chad coming in there, Tanner shoving Finn into a locker, setting him straight, and then just like, yeah, being able to be the one that turned around the ship, so to speak. So I feel like there's a lot of like upside for him, not much downside. And it didn't feel like he was going to get like a better opportunity than this within LCS. Like, it doesn't seem like any of the other teams would take him. I feel like most people recognize that he is like a middle tier, like peak, like when he's playing at his best, he's like a middle tier LCS mid laner. And I think generally the other orgs would rather take a player that potentially has more upside. Like, I think Flyquest would rather run triple or something like that, or people who are taking chances on Palafox, or you're gonna have a Blaze Olive. Like, people would just want to see if any of those players could maybe break into that top tier. So I think it's actually good for both parties to make this change.
Low floor, high ceiling. Whereas I kind of just thought about it a little bit. Tanner's normally known for these roaming mid laners, the ones that help out, and maybe not being so lane dominant, but helping out his other lanes, the Gallia, the Kiana, getting around the map. And I feel like you've got pieces that can help with that in a 3v2 if you can get there first, a Twisted Fate, and helping Finn carry a little bit harder, whereas Pobelter, I think, is a better carry, like a better mage player, just better in the lane. And if he gets fed, he can be the guy that wins you the game. But CLG was just losing. They would fall behind and they weren't able to close out. So do you feel like the stylistic change gives them a different angle towards success, a different angle towards finding wins?
I personally don't. I think that, like, he's going to be the same player that Pobelter was. It's like, all right, well, we can't win unless we play press our comps because no one on our team has any idea how to play League of Legends. So we're just going to, like, put you on Galio, and Brox is going to Vial. You're going to press R on him. Maybe Smoothie will play Rakan, and that is our team. All right. Get in there, champ. Like, that's pretty much going to be it.
I mean, I think Damonte. It's literally not gonna. There's no way it's gonna change anything. I mean, yeah, there's just no way it's gonna change anything, man. I mean, when you look at CLG, they can't spot any of their own issues, dude. Oh God, you're making me see the Reddit comments right now. When I was reading through the Reddit comments, and the people are like, these are 5 veteran professionals right now, who are all clearly trying to get better, and they're all trying to improve. So it has to be the coaching staff's fault, right? No guy in comments. No, that's not actually how that works. Like, the players don't know what they're doing wrong, and they don't know how to improve. That's literally the whole reason. It's actually like a support therapy group going on inside of the LCS. It's literally, it's 5 people that have no idea what they're doing, who are just like seemingly like in the position that they're in, all trying to hurdle together to like survive on a deserted island. That's the way that I think of CLG.
And they decided to eat Pobelter, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I hope they're able to turn around. They're good guys on that roster. Let's head back to our overall leaderboard here. Again, at the bottom of the standings going into week number 6, the other big story that we had going into the week, Licorice being traded off of Flyquest, being deemed surplus, and Nick Van went on a couple of podcasts saying, hey, like, Golden Guardians came to me and wanted a big offer. I didn't really want to trade him, but there was something that I thought was best for him and for the group. Yeah, that's what he said. That is
okay. Number one, I've never seen you and Nick Fan in the room until I see that. You guys are the same person to me. So I actually don't even believe one word that's coming out of your mouth.
That's messed up, man. Hang on, let me keep going. I'm gonna find a photo of Nick.
Just say it. Like the way that I see it is that I was really surprised that they even went for this trade in the first place because it felt like Solo improved their team quite a bit. But I mean, Licorice played well. He played better than we've seen him play pretty much the rest of summer. So I'd say it's overall like a win for both teams here. Like, because it didn't seem like Flyquest even wanted to use him, right? Like, I don't think that if Licorice stayed with Flyquest, he would have got to play. It was going to be the whole academy team in LCS. So Licorice gets to keep playing. If he ends up being better for Golden Guardians in some capacity, that's great. Essentially, what I've heard is that they have some idea of how they want to play the game. At least there's some shot calling in their team. So, you know what? Like, I'm okay with this. I just think it's weird for Solo because I don't think Solo was the issue on Golden Guardians. I think he was actually performing pretty well.
Yeah. It did feel like it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's kind of weird, right? Because especially the way that Solo, I mean, for me, the way that everyone was talking leading up to the change is just really sus, right? I had that tweet that I ended up like linking where Licorice says like how the team's coming together or something like that, right? And there's Swagasaurus's comment right below it. And then there's the Flyquest tweet, and then Solo like doing the interviews and like talking about team atmosphere, and then boom. And I think for me, all that it really does, or what I hope that it does for like public, right, is it goes to show you how much bullshit is publicly just typed on the internet by people who want you to believe that certain things are going on that actually aren't. I think there's a lot more transparency in following the storyline of those events unfolding, and what it really means for behind the scene actions that has nothing to do with what you're saying publicly.
Yeah. I mean, Nick's been in the game for a while now, so I think he has his modus operandi, and most of the time it does seem like he is doing best for both parties, but, you know, he'll always do what's, you know, best for the org. He's you know, been employed for quite some time. So let me see if I can get this photo up for us, everybody. Here we go. Me and Dom is delusional. We don't look alike at all. Here we go. This is
okay. You're gonna use a bad picture, I believe.
No, look. That's a good picture of him on the stream. Look on the stream.
Okay, if you gained a solid 20 pounds, like, I could see it.
No way, dude. Come on, chat. One's in the chat if we look the same. Two's in the chat if we don't look the same. We don't look the same. I don't believe
Same
this.
person, such. Yeah, exactly.
All right, I need to take a picture with him to make sure that everyone knows we are differente. But
look, we get it. You know, like, you let yourself go during quarantine a little bit. Now you're getting in shape. Like, I saw you, like, your bench press that you have. Like, you got your own bench, you got your own weights.
Yeah, it's behind the green screen.
Exactly. So
That's right.
We know what you're up to, but you can't fool us, dude. Like, it's okay. You're the Flyquest GM. I would be embarrassed. I wouldn't tell people if I was the Flyquest GM either.
It's a tough job. It's a tough job, you know, GMing what was 2 last place orgs in 2 different seasons.
Jesus.
All right. So, but with those changes, right? Licorice, Solo out on the bench currently. Actually, he's still collecting that paycheck from Golden Guardians. Licorice and we're like, oh man, they Flyquest make the decision. I made the decision to put all of the academy players on in. Everyone thought I was crazy, but instead they go 3-0. They have a tough match against Cloud9, but then are able to take care of business against the other squads and go undefeated after Flyquest had lost 10 matches in a row, as well as Golden Guardians going 2-1. And the only game they lost was to TSM, which was like a 40-minute banger, which was still very close and, had potential for the upset. So this week, upset week in full effect here with Licorice making the transition on over. What'd you make of the results of these changes? Because rarely do we see changes like this breed immediate results, Dom.
I mean, I think that the change that wasn't really talked about was the Flyquest coaching staff. Actually, like, the main team coaching staff is gone, and like the academy coaches were just moved up with the team, because I feel like that was the biggest issue on Flyquest. Like, I don't believe that you take that group of players, and most of them are young, most of them are like hungry for this opportunity to play at LCS, and the coaching staff has good ideas, understands how to implement them, is like well versed at being able to like figure out what players' weaknesses are and like finding strategies that are going to like accentuate the strengths while like masking some of the weaknesses. And the players just weren't able to do it at all, and they weren't able to be decent in LCS. So I think that that's something that should be noted. Is I actually really like that they kept the coaching staff. They didn't just like change the players and keep the same coaching staff. They brought the coaching staff with the players into LCS so that they have the same environment, same people all together that were actually producing the results in Academy.
Mind you, this Academy squad was first place at the time, and so they all moved on up.
Second or something.
First or second. LS, what are your thoughts on this swap here for Flyquest and the results of it, as well as the coaching staff?
I mean, I think the results I think are I think that they're overperformed. You know, and I think that as weeks continue to unfold, I think the reality of it will eventually come to a head. But I think like Cloud9 losing, I think is like really worrisome, right? I think there's other stuff that's going on, like Cloud9 being a part of this streak is really worrying. Because Cloud9, if you look at their performance in the summer, it's actually really fucking terrible, pretty much all around. So I think that like while they're having a nice run and the streak is like very good, I think that some of the people who were like victims during the streak are also like sort of underperforming, and so there's like this middle ground going on there that I don't know. I mean, you have to wait for more weeks to develop. I mean, there's only 3 weeks left, right?
Yeah. So this is the final round robin that's starting up.
Yeah.
Cloud9, the only team in the top half, currently tied in third place with Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid. The only team in the top half that still has not hit double-digit wins, still at 50% win rate, 9-9 for the summer split. Everyone else has gotten at least the double digits and over that hump. And as you had said correctly here, LS, next week for Flyquest, this upcoming week, TSM, Evil Geniuses, and 100 Thieves. So the Academy squad that has been dominating caught an easier schedule, CLG, Immortals, and Cloud9 last week, a slumping Cloud9, as you said, and will be facing the Ringer next week. If Flyquest, what is success for this roster, knowing that they're playing the top 3 teams next week? Is it any win? Is it 2 wins? Do they have to, like, what is success here for this Flyquest roster?
They have to go 3-0 or Tafo's going to make another video for them.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that's so strange is, like, I don't think a lot of people saw the Damonte change for CLG and they're like, you know what? Like, that was the move. At least everyone else can, like, take a load off it. Like, no, like, those players can still get replaced. Like, he didn't say, like, we're going to be looking for, like, 1 or 2 changes, or, like, there will be at least a change. Like, he's like, we're going to look for changes for all you guys. Like, that's what came off. So there could still be like other changes that are coming. Like, you might see an Academy player moved up. Like, so I wouldn't feel safe at all if I was a member of CLG.
Yeah. Well, again, just Damonte for now. Maybe more in the future. I think someone else listed it. You had RJ, then you had Pobe, and now Damonte. 3 mid laners in 1 year. Even we didn't do that on Golden Guardians in 2018. We just had 2. So we'll see what happens with CLG. I always, this is like a cool comparison now. I know what the bottom's like. So if any team is doing what we were doing, I'm like, oh shit.
Wait, didn't you get a third when Mickey like rage quit and went back to Korea?
Oh shit, yeah, that's right. We did put in all-star streamer, collegiate faker, 2-time winner, Bob Chin. Bob Chin got 1 week.
Yeah. So look, you guys did make a change. You guys did the 3 mid laner.
I am a little frustrated that you know the depths of our roster changes in 2018, Tom. I forgot.
Bro, you can't pull that shit on this show, man. I'm gonna call you out right
here. Fair. On the Golden Guardian side, did we want to dive a little bit deeper into them going 2-1 here? And the only, that the major swap was Licorice. I had the chance to talk to him, saying that the conversations that happened felt like, hey, they needed a carry, right? And they needed a carry and people that were going to communicate a little bit better. And we've seen Solo come into these rosters, these types of rosters, make them better, just like he did with Golden Guardians. He talked about the atmosphere, but then Licorice comes in and instead of playing weak side, gets resources and is able to carry multiple times and almost win all 3 games here. Have Golden Guardians found a recipe for success moving forward to try and sneak into the playoffs, tied with CLG for 9th place and 2 games back of that final playoff spot against Flyquest?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a good look for them. I just want to see some consistency out of the team. I will say, though, like, with Golden Guardians' record in summer, it does feel like they're actually not that bad. Like, I would say they're probably I mean, Flyquest, it's really hard to judge because they played one week with this roster, but I would say they're like a 7th place. Like, I would probably take them over Dig right now. So, you know, that's improvement. They were like a hard 10th. Now they're maybe a 7th.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there you go, right? I mean, I'm sure pretty much the same sentiment.
It's kind of crazy how there's only 9 matches left for each team, right? It's the final round robin. Dignitas is 18-18, and so CLG and or Golden Guardians would have to go 8-1, and Dignitas would have to go. They would have to lose all their games. So how big that buffer of the spring split to summer split is pretty big for orgs like Dignitas, who are still they have a lot of the same pieces. It's just Yusui's gone, or Yusui's in, Soligo's gone. Haven't been able to also put the piece together, so the consistency together since Joshy Boy has left. Now a team that is struggling and hit the struggle bus, and Dom, you called it a lot of the time. You do a great job calling these things. You called it again. Immortals. They were on the hot streak. They were highlighted by the broadcast. Immortals. They've got the best record in the summer split. And then I think he said, I think it was just their schedule. Let's see what happens. Since then, I think 1 win out of their last like 5, maybe 6 matches. They're now 8-10 and starting to fall off the pace a little bit. Still will probably qualify for playoffs at 15 wins, but slowing down a little bit. What are your thoughts on this squad's struggles here, LS?
I mean, if you look at their match history, right, when they come into summer, they have 2 free wins right at the very start of the season, and then they have a streak of really bad games, right? They have a massive upset over Cloud9. I think everyone looked at it that way, and then you had Flyquest, CLG, Golden Guardians. Then after that, you had 100 Thieves, TSM, and
EG.
Cloud9 again. So, yeah, I mean, everything just went rough, right? And then Dignitas, they ended up getting a win over. So, like, Immortals, it's one of those things where you have to really look at their schedules when you're trying to read into things. And I think that schedules in general are like this weird narrative that a lot of people are having, not just in LCS, right, but everywhere. LCK, LEC, I don't know about LPL. But it just feels like people don't monitor who people just played against, right? When they're talking about win streaks or like what's actually happening in the context of the games, because sometimes it actually just lets you know that actually nothing's happening. It's just almost expected. Like, yes, Immortals are favorites over, you know, Golden Guardians and Flyquest and CLG. I mean, they always have been, right? That's no surprise. So the only things that you can really take away is like the upset over Cloud9. And then when you consider the win against Dignitas, it's like, well, look at what's happening to Dignitas. So it's no longer an upset. So everything's actually like on par, or it's par for the course for Immortals. There's nothing going on. There's no narrative for them. I don't think. I mean, that's my stance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're fine, right? Like, this is actually good considering where they should be, right? Like, so realistically, they're kind of just like a 6th place team, a 7th place team. Like, they probably won't get past the first. Maybe if they have a really easy first round matchup, they'll get a second round, because you know how many fucking teams make playoffs now, right? So yeah. I don't think that they're gonna go very far. But when you look at like the players on that team, like, how the fuck are you gonna get top 5 in NA when your bot lane is Raze and Destiny? I feel like that's the big weakness of this team, is like the top side's inexperienced. Like, both the soul laners are relatively inexperienced, not able to like play consistently well. And then bot lane, I think, is just generally bad. They had some good games at the beginning of the split.
They did, yeah.
As time goes on, I have less and less confidence, specifically in Raze. I think Destiny's all right. I think Raze just He has that terrible quality from like bottom tier AD carries that you see sometimes, or they just run it down like super, super hard in a team fight. So you never can reliably feel like this guy has items, he's going to carry the game. Like you don't get that with Immortals. So it's really up to like Revenge and Insanity to be the ones that are winning out on the game. Like completely. I think Xerxes had a pretty good split, honestly, but yeah, I just don't have much confidence at all if you're going to play with a Raze and Destiny bot lane.
I had the chance to catch up with Xerxes on Saturday, after Saturday's match. I think that was against Team Liquid. He got the Baron steal, I believe, but then they got kind of stuck in the pit and they ended up dying. He's felt like he's been in poor form. He was pretty shaken up. I was very appreciative of the fact that he gave me an interview after an L, and you could tell he's shaken up. But he knows that he needs to shape up his play because, as you said, Dom, he's had a pretty good split, facilitating for the rest of the squad, and that was something that I overlooked at this team coming into the year. Xerxes' impact in the game, and since then it's been a little bit of a slump week, so we'll see if Immortals are able to bounce back. Another squad I wanted to hit on, and it's the one that you've been touching on a little bit here, LS. It's Cloud9. Cloud9 sitting at 9-9. 50% win rate for the summer split. Just a little bit off, right? It's been talked about that, like, hey, we know that Perks can carry, but he hasn't really turned it on yet. You know, we aren't quite there yet at the end of the split where it's like, okay, we need you to do it right now, or you know, the switch maybe doesn't need to be turned on yet. What are you seeing from this squad that is preventing them from being the dominant force that we saw over at MSI and at the end of the spring split?
Dominant force in MSI.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm unironically seeing another potential CLG week coming out, but this time for Cloud9. So they have basically the 3 easiest opponents that they can go up against coming up, right? They have Immortals, CLG themselves, and then Golden Guardians. That is their week. If they don't go 3-0, unfortunately, I think, you know, we're gonna get another video. There's obviously there's not gonna be any changes. I think that ship has really sailed. Cloud9 obviously just have like a shitload of fucking issues, and it feels really bad watching them. When you watch the game. I mean, I commented that, you know, when Dom is starting to tweet negative things about Perks' performances, that's when you know things have gotten rough. But like, this is just it. You know, I mean, there's no more apologists out there for this one. Blabber's obviously been running it. I think their drafts are just completely running it. Fudge is obviously like not very happy. He looked really defeated after one of the losses, right? I think it was the Akali game where he was just popping off. Could have itemized better. Yeah. Or yeah. So he could have itemized better in that game. I remember talking to him immediately after, but it's very apparent. I mean, also like sometimes like the public gets some insight into like how he's feeling on some stuff when he comes on like the LCK streams. I feel really bad for Fudge in general. I think he's by far their best player, and it's just a fucking shit show, man. You can just tell that there is so much personality conflict in how people want to play the game in that team. It's so readily apparent when you just watch them play, and how their drafts are literally fucking polar opposites, just depending on, you know, wins or losses or results. It's just a total clusterfuck, and I really can't say too much more than that because, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for me, the biggest issue is like when you're seeing Blabber underperform in the regular season, it's like that's how you know shit has really hit the fan, because this guy is like the normal regular season Smurf, right? Like he's the guy that's gonna like fall off as the pressure goes up. But generally, like when he plays regular season games and he's comfortable, he'll just Smurf the entire game. Like he'll just have massive leads on all these other junglers. Like that's what we've seen. That's why he's won 2 MVPs, just because of how hard he would dominate his opponents when he would actually be like comfortable and when, you know, C9 would be a top team. But you see the same mistakes that he's been making since MSI. Like you see this crab, that Lucia Diana crab for CG, that one really got me, because not only do you not win the 2v2, they also had TP. Like Jizuke was TPing in anyway, so like you're gonna lose it guaranteed. So when I saw that situation, it was like, damn, this team is fucking lost. Like, if you can't look at that situation as a player, even in solo queue, and be like, let's give up this crap. This is not our like, you're a level down in the jungle. The enemy Renekton is already there with Fury. You don't get a stronger top laner like in a level 4 fight than a Renekton that has Fury already. Like, that is going to be one of the most overpowered like flash stun, like one-shot abilities that you have at that point in the game. And they fought into it. Like, the fact they opted into that fight, I was like, yeah, this team is looking pretty fucking doomed. The good news is that like TSM and TL also look so bad that they could probably still make Worlds even while looking doomed.
Aurelia with Vampiric Scepter stronger than level 4 Renekton.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, I mean, she's full build.
Oh, okay.
LS said so must be so. Well, Cloud9 as
without
you said.
A wave too. Aurelia without a wave. Pog.
Yeah.
Cloud9.
Fine, she's full build.
I've got 2 dashes. It'll be good. Cloud9, as you said, have an easier week this week. Maybe it's exactly what the doctor ordered as we go into the final round robin with 3 weeks of play left. A team that has been hot, especially in that last round robin. So there's been 5. You play, I guess, over the year, you play each team 5 times. In the 4th round robin, it was Evil Geniuses sitting on the league's longest winning streak right now at 8 wins. Is it 8 wins? Yeah, 8 wins in a row. And everyone's favorite streamer has now become the dominant force, the darling, the front runner for MVP. Jizuke has been able to reel it back in enough so that the rest of the squad can continue to flourish. They've got 2 junglers that they can throw on in there, and they have the prodigy AD carry in Danny coming on in. God, every time I say that, it just crushes my heart. And looking like not only rookie of the split, because there aren't any rookies, but maybe the all-pro bot laner of the LCS. So just
Everything definitely wishes he was.
So thoughts on this? Other thoughts on your thoughts on this, Ellis? Let's not get into my thoughts. Let's go into your thoughts on this.
Do you think definitely tunes into the games each weekend?
I do not think so.
No, right. Well, okay. I mean, EG have a stellar week as well. They have a really soft week, just like Cloud9. So I think that in that regard, they should probably go 3-0. I think anything less than a 3-0 is probably bad for them. I think Danny's obviously been, I mean, he's been overperforming expectations. I think for most people. So I mean, there are some people that are saying that he's not overperforming and that like they just anticipated that he would come in and do really, really, really well. Yeah. But I think it's nice to see. You don't actually get something like Danny that comes around that often in LCS. You know, I mean, so it is nice. I actually can't remember the last time that someone like super new came in that was also from America and was doing well.
Well, the 2 examples, I don't think they had the same impact, but the 2 examples are our 2 sophomore AD carries that are kind of had bumps or are struggling this year in Tactical and in Johnson. I think those 2 guys came off of, well, Tactical bounced around from the academy stuff. Johnson came from solo queue, right? And then just shot on in. But they didn't hit the heights that Danny's been able to do on multiple different bot laners. Thoughts, Dom?
Well, I think EG right now is just playing the best league in LCS. Like, they're the only team that actually has seemed to learn anything over the course of the year. Like, where when you came into LCS, they didn't have like really like a definitive style, and now it feels like they've completely like adopted like hey, like if we have a slow push early game and we have like a jungler that is able to full clear or just be at the timer at 3:15, and we have a mid lane that pushes, we can dive aside for pretty much free. Like, you know, and they're the only team that is able to actually pull this off accurately, and you can tell that they've done it so much that it's practiced, right? It's something that's in their playbook of things that they can do throughout the game. So even though they run it down like over and over again, like in mid game, or they'll constantly have fights where, you know, 3 people will die randomly or Jizuke will just get caught. Honestly, the fact that they're at least going for some plays and they have some type of team identity is better than what we've seen from other LCS teams. So yeah, I actually just think EG is the best team in NA right now. You know, and I'd rather send them to Worlds. I tweeted this, but I would much rather send a team like EG to Worlds than like TSM. Like, you just see like TSM with all the pressure and like everything. They're gonna be like, they're gonna walk into like backstage, like see a Chinese player, oh my god, okay, let's just leave, let's just get on the fucking plane and leave. Like, it's like, come on, bro, like, at least go there with some confidence. At least Jizuke and like play against anyone.
Dom, they have sword art. You think they're afraid of any?
Yeah, they see what he's doing to their team. They're like, holy shit, this guy is so good. He's beating us from the inside. What about these other guys? What happens when they're playing against us? How good are they gonna be?
I thought it would be more like Sword Art says, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And then he looks around and he's like, "Where's my team?" And they're so used to heading to the airport that they just went back to
like,
that.
"Hey, bro, you see my interview with Travis? I said I was trying to join LPL at some point. Like, is this the end? Like, you guys looking for a jungler? Shadow, get it. I'm better than Shadow. Like, can I get in here? Like, you're just gonna go there just try to fucking barter. Sword Art's gonna be like, I don't care how much money I get played. Please take me back, bro. On is running it down every single game for Suning. Please just take me back. Like, I want to be on a winning team again. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, yeah. I don't think it's that bad with TSM right now. Well, I guess we could dive into it.
I can't wait for TSM Legends this week.
Yeah.
There's gonna be another campfire. This one's gonna be like fucking. What was it? What was it on Nickelodeon? Was it like Tales of the Dark or like what was it?
Oh yeah,
Tales of the
Crypt.
Like Are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah.
Are you afraid of the dark? Yeah, that's what TSM Legends is turning into with the Bjergsen outside talks when it starts getting dark out.
Yeah.
But no one says anything. They're like, "What do you think about that?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's not good."
Or how it's a question and then it cuts, but the sun has clearly like set another 30 minutes, like before the answer came in.
Dom, that was really good, man. Like, I've been in those conversations. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
That's not good, man. It's not good. Like, it's just so messed up because like the things that Bjergsen are saying, the fact that he even needs to vocalize those things to the team just shows like how doomed their mentality is. It's like, all right, so like they bleep out the champion names, but you can assume what it is. Like, all right, so PoE, you haven't played like a Kali or Lee Sin or whatever it is in the last like couple years, and then like I looked at your solo queue account, you're not even playing in solo queue, and now you want to pull it out in scrims. Like, don't you think you should like put some games in on solo queue? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we should probably play it in solo queue if I haven't played in the last like 3 years. Then you see PoE on stage, and it's like, bro, he can't even just like it doesn't even look like he's put 10 games on Lee Sin. Like he can't even like kick flash, or like he has no idea like in a team fight what he can possibly do. Like he just doesn't have games on the champion. It's so obvious, and then they keep on playing it. And what's so weird is that when Lisa was broken, they didn't play it, and then it's nerfed and it's not even mandatory to be played in solo lanes anymore, and now they're trying to play it. Like, I don't fucking understand what's happening with this team.
No, it was bad.
It
was super bad.
Well,
It was really bad, man.
so we can dive into the specific match of the week. This time, actually, the game of the week, and actually not like the weakness, but actually the best one. This was 1 versus 2, 100 Thieves versus TSM. Never really any doubt there for 100 Thieves, kind of. And again, they were the ones punching up. This was their opportunity to take first place away from TSM, able to do so. What felt like with ease. Like it just felt like they were able to take control of it, and really was an opportunity for TSM to come back in this one. Thoughts on this one, Dom?
I mean, I think 100 Thieves is just a better team. There's not much I could say outside of that. Like, I just don't think that TSM has anything that makes them special. Like, it feels like if they want to perform and make it to Worlds, they're just going to have to ditch all the strategies that they were trying to work on this split and just go for, like, PoE on a control mage, speak on whatever jungler he cannot get destroyed on in the first, like, 15 minutes while he has no pressure from his laners. Like, consistent, like, tank / playmaking top laner top, and then just put Sword Art on something that can engage and just hope you win. Like, that's it.
It's so weird that like there's the whole narrative of like TSM junglers, right? Like being problems or something like that, but like now it's the only person who's not a problem. Almost consistently. Spica is almost consistently not the problem. If Spica's doing bad in a game, the game is fucking doomed. Like that's just how it is in TSM right now. He is constantly with the worst fucking setup of lanes. Like lane matchups or fucking team comp or whatever. Or like he's on like a champion that has no pairing with like synergizing laners or whatnot.
Let's go Nidalee, Orianna, Gnar.
It's so fucking bad. But then the other problem, and I think you say it really accurately, TSM has no identity. They're not lane dominant. They don't draft well at all. I mean, you can produce it in a toilet. They're all over the place with like where they're fucking drafting. they don't like do like even if it's bad, which I think it is in most cases, they don't do like arbitrary, mandatory forced objective. They're sort of like they're an isness. That's it. If they get ahead and like they have a relatively okay draft and Power of Evil's on a control mage and the early game and the mid game was really friendly and stuff, the opponent's probably going to int into them because it's North America. And then TSM, who aren't even stellar at mechanics, are still better than their counterparts. So they're going to win. Yeah. But like this isn't a good thing. And then every fucking TSM Legends, you hear Bjergsen talking about heralds and dragons and comms and all that. Bjergsen, your players fucking suck at laning. Can we start there? Like, can there be one topic? The only person who's mentioned laning in any of the TSM Legends episodes is Spica.
Yep. But it's crazy because it's like for him, like the situation is like I don't even understand like how he was able to remain so sane in that environment. Because number one, like everyone knows that a jungler is the one that gets the most frustrated when they don't have the ability to play the game. Because like when you're losing a lane, right? Like there are times where it could be differential from like mid or jungle, whatever. But like as a jungler where you draft so terribly and people play so terribly that all of your camps are perma invaded, you don't even get to touch like the game. The fact that they were even having that meeting and being like, so Spica, like, how do you feel about this game? He's like, I can't play the game. Like he just kept on saying it. And for some reason the community
can't play,
He said he can't play, right? And for some reason, there was like some like rumors that are like not even rumors, but like some comments in the community. It's like, oh, like Spica, like he seems so lovable some of the times, but like this is kind of toxic. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you want him to say? Like, bro, you know what other people would say? You know what Dardak would say? Yeah, I can't play the game with dog shit fucking laners that can't even stay in the lane until 3:30 without losing the whole fucking game. Like Dardak he would be saying like, dude, if you make me play with this one more time, I'm gonna jump out of the window or something. Like, so for a jungler to be put in that situation, for him to respond the way he did, honestly, like I feel like this guy must just be like a saint or something, because you will lose your mind being a professional jungler having to lane with shit like that. Like imagine you just go into a professional game playing Nidalee and you look around your lanes, you got Orianna and Gnar, and both of them are getting pushed in. How the fuck do you play? Like, it just seems so unplayable from jungle. And the problem is that the champions that used to be the strong, oppressive laners, like Orianna, Azir, they're not as good in the meta anymore. There's things that could just out-sustain the lane phase or even pressure them. And then Spica has just left his own devices because no one plays for him ever. Like, no one plays for him on this team.
Are we sure that was Dardak that would say that? Or is that, were we using replacement for conversations that you might have had in the past? Probably.
Oh, I mean, look, hey, I never went that hard, but like,
you wouldn't have gone
like,
that.
It's almost like you're trying to trigger the jungler. If you like take a game, it's like, so here's like a game of review where you don't get to play because all the lanes are inting. Like, what do you think is happening in the game? It's like you're like literally setting him up to like pop off. Like, it's like, do you want me to fucking start flaming or what? Like, if you don't want me to start flaming, stop fucking talking to me and address the problems.
So the issue is TSM Legends is all cut up, right? So I mean, there's a chance that they talk about laning and like all this other stuff. I just simply don't believe it. I just simply don't believe it. If I could bet money, I would give high odds that they don't think laning is a problem. And I think the reason that they don't think laning is a problem is because laning is the hardest skill set to see. If you were to ask like a random fucking coach to sit there with a pro view open and then talk about laning phase, they're not going to be able to do it any better than their player would. So there's that issue, right? So I don't think that that's probably a thing. The other thing that I think is like really poorly for TSM is like they're hyper worried about these like objective focused rotations, right? Even if you make it to World, first off, you're never going to be in a position to rotate for these things because you guys are just going to be getting ass blasted. And then the other thing is that even if you do, you're just going to get mechanically fucked. So it doesn't. It's like really weird. It's a really weird stressor. I think the point that you're saying, like, what would you have Spica do? These are people that have like this like really positive, optimistic, fucking sunshine and clouds mentality that if I was a pro player, I'd just be so grateful to do it that, oh my God, I would just always look, to be so positive and optimistic. And it's like, no, it's not the reality of the situation.
I mean, I come from the real world where I have to do hard labor in order to make my money. These kids are playing video games and they can still have a bad attitude. Disgusting.
I can't.
That was a good impression though. Like that's literally what they think. That's what goes on in their head. Like they can't even interpret why being a pro player would be an absurdly stressful situation. Like why it would be something that would be like such a stressful and tough environment to be in.
Yep. And I think a lot of people won't be able to, especially when TSM puts out pieces like that, where it feels like they're as you said, setting up Spica to not have the greatest response, and then not really protect them there. So TSM have their woes cut out for them to fix with this upcoming final rotation of matches. As we I kind of wanted to look at the standings one more time, or just kind of like where everyone is, because this is kind of what we thought it was going to be. We've got this upper half of 100 Thieves, TSM, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid. And then kind of like, I guess Dig is not the one that we thought was going to be there. We thought Dig was.
They're not even there though. That's the thing. Is like these stats.
They're playoffs.
These standings are so decided. Yeah, but I mean, fucking playoffs is like, dude. If LS and I start playing right now with 9 games left, holy shit! Like maybe we can make playoffs. Like we could go. You could take the first like split off, still make playoffs. With how the schedule is, I think that the standings look like what you'd expect when you start doing like a deep dive into like who's playing the best right now. It doesn't look anything like you'd expect. You'd expect like TL and C9 to be just dominating the league, and like 100 Thieves maybe challenging them. Like maybe they get into that upper echelon, but maybe they just like are like a 3rd place team. And like TSM would also be in that mix with 100 Thieves. In reality, we have EG as like performing the best team so far. Like right now, they're playing the best league right now. And then 100 Thieves to me is like a clear 2nd. So I feel like the standings are deceptive because of how they do it. And it's not representative of how good the teams are currently.
Something that I did, and then I was like, I should probably stop doing this because maybe people will get upset. In some of my interviews, I was asking players like, hey, what do you think of this duo split thing? And Impact gave me the best answer, where he's like, spring split, you play for MSI. Summer split should be its own separate thing. And it feels weird to me that we have this long season here. But I'd be interested to see what players think and kind of compare it to their ranking. Like, hey, like if you're like Golden Guardians or CLG, I guess Golden Guardians, or let's see, who else had like a better record than what they had in spring? Maybe like Immortals? Yeah, if you're Golden Guardians Immortals, you'd be like, yeah, I'd rather have 2 different splits. But do we feel like this longer split structure has led to a more engaging summer split? Because I think that was the goal, right?
No. It's killing
it alienates viewership, because spring like has this weird effect where now you can actually do really poorly in summer and it doesn't harm you as much. But also because of spring standings, playoffs are basically decided almost in week 6.
It's true.
So now we're just like in this disgruntled fucking like snooze fest where it's like another 3-game week. But like some of the results just don't even matter. Teams don't even care anymore. I mean, at CLG probably has had a little bit too much Bud Light. There's so much going on, right? I feel really disinterested with the way that the standings currently are because of spring's carried weight. The only league right now that sort of like excites me in the standings is the LCK, because if you look at the LCK standings, it's actually kind of scary. But there's even more tension because despite having 4 seeds, T1 is still, I mean, we just 2-0'd KT yesterday, which was really good. But like, there's a legitimate narrative that even with 4 seeds, T1 might not make Worlds. That's fucking interesting with how like tightly condensed like the middle of the pack is in Korea. And it's also like 7 teams. Whereas in like LCS, it's like the bottom 3 are on life support. One of them of the bottom 3 don't even realize they're on life support, but they're actually on it. And then like there's a bunch of stuff going on. I don't know.
Oh man, so I think that I actually saw like I know people hate on Wicked takes a lot, but I think that he actually had a pretty good one when it comes to LCS, where like pretty much what he said. Let me find the tweet so I don't misquote it. It's in the last day or something.
I'll search too.
So here it is. So he says, watching short seasons, current LEC format, can be boring, but 6 teams make playoffs, so that's what makes it somewhat interesting. Who came up with making NALCS 1 season long with 8 playoffs teams? It's completely pointless to watch besides the 3-4 worst teams. So essentially what he's saying is like, if you have a short season and there's like not that many playoff spots, then like you'll be invested in seeing who's going to make playoffs. Like the team, since there's less teams making playoffs, generally the teams that make playoffs will be pretty decent. Like a team like Immortals making playoffs versus Dig, like that would be like interesting because maybe both those teams could do more than a team like Flyquest or CLG. But when you have this super long 45 game season, and then you have like these, like, look at the win rates of the teams that are making. What is Flyquest? Flyquest
12 and 24.
LCS standings. What are they?
12 and 24.
Okay, nice. So they've won a third of their games. Great. So they're gonna make playoffs with under a 35% win rate. Like, who is excited for a team that they're losing to everyone, bro? They're losing so many fucking games. Like, how can you have any hope for a team like this? This type of format only works in like 2020 summer of LEC, where there was all that parity, right? Where like Astralis was last, but they were like 6-10, and the team that was first was 13-5, and then like Misfits was like, or I think they were 6-12, and then you had like Misfits who was like 7-11 or whatever. Like the teams were so close in standing that it felt like you actually were excited for like whatever team made it. And it's like if Vitality or Misfits or whatever got the 8th place seed, it would actually feel like that team could kind of compete with the top teams. When you have like a really top heavy league, having these many playoff teams just makes it super not fun to watch.
Yep. No, I agree. I don't know how Riot can approach the formatting though of like leagues, because I think like LCK is a really good example that you can have a really interesting like last few weeks, and then there's just other examples where sometimes the way that the cards fall, it's just not interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if it's top heavy, it's going to be top heavy. But if we take a look at the standings real quick from summer, I'm over at Wikipedia. You've got 100 Thieves would be first place based off of summer. Then you've got Evil Geniuses and TSM tied for second. Then it would be Team Liquid, and then Cloud9. So we still have the same top 5. But then after that, you get Immortals, Dignitas, and Golden Guardians. Wow, and Flyquest and CLG would be on the bottom, and all of them are within 2 games of each other. Maybe not CLG, but so it's a little bit closer, and Cloud9 has the potential of possibly falling out. So anyway, just I guess just food for thought, because we hit this every year. You know, we hit this conversation every year of just like, man, summer's rough, and it feels bad for teams that were great in the beginning of the year. Like, it feels awful for like Cloud9 2020, right? Where they were so dominant and then fell off. But we did send our best teams, right? Like, I don't think there's any question about that. Maybe not our most talented teams, but we sent our best teams last year.
Yeah, what happened to the
and still got smacked, right? Yeah.
Okay. And who went to MSI? That was our best team again.
That was our best team. They made
like
it out of the
lower than a PCS team.
They made it out of the group
Perks'
stage.
salary doubles the entire team's salary for like 3 or 4 years.
Jesus.
Doggo
Darth
2022, dog.
Perks.
Doggo 2022. Get him over here,
I mean,
dude.
it's my old age. I have Alzheimer's. I don't remember what happened in the past. I need to be reminded so I can make accurate assessments.
To be friends.
Mickey LS here. Jesus.
I don't need that. I've had enough Mickey in my life, brother. All right, let's see. I think that's about all I had for this week. I did want to touch on, just because it's global stage and we're getting a little bit closer to Worlds. Did you have thoughts? And I don't know if you can touch on it because of your affiliation, but did you have thoughts on this T1 change, this T1 move?
Yeah, actually, I need to go to the bathroom.
All right, cool. I was just
Look,
checking.
if you give us a real take, but you do it in a Mickey Mouse voice, then you're absolved of all responsibility. Like, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know the decision that we made. You know, we made this decision. Were we approached, by Polt, maybe? Okay. All right. That's enough prying. That's enough prying. He just came back from good health. I don't want to put him in bad health.
I thought it was a thyroid problem. Really, he just like mimics Mickey Mouse so much that it's permanently fucked his throat. Oh no, Jesus.
You know what? We never do this. I'll take a couple questions after I bring up this last point. So if you want to write some questions in the chat, tag me in there. I'll pick a couple out. What is going on with TL and not playing Alphari yet? Like, is there something? There has to be something, because I thought it was like, oh, Jat's left. He's taking the break. We're good to go. And then they put him in for one game, but not like a full game here.
Wait, didn't Jat just make one of his like first tweets the other day?
Did he? I did not see
his departure.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, he did. He tweeted. He retweeted, and then.
Oh, it was a basketball tweet. It's a basketball tweet.
Yeah, it was a basketball tweet. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jat is huge basketball fan. He was on ESPN as like a pundit there for Sports Nation when that was a show. Yeah. He was. I mean, just for a guest episode, but yeah, he's huge in sports. That was one way that we bonded. But yeah, the top lane situation. They said they wanted to run a 6-man roster. Did I think Dodo, Steve? Yeah, I don't think I heard from Cold on that one, but it was Dodo and Steve. But since then, they haven't quite. It just every top laner I've talked to is like, yeah, Alphari is probably the best in the region. Usually, it's like Alphari and me. That's what every other top laner says.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's obviously something going on, right? But now I wonder if it's just past the point of, is it not just the whole Jat stuff? Is there actually more? Because honestly, I think everyone just thought it was that, but now it's not looking like it.
Well, I think it's also the fact that like Alphari hasn't played in so many weeks, so now the team is just like, they probably have like started scrimming with both, and then they're like, damn, like we're actually just better with Jenkins now than we are with Alphari because we spent 5 weeks playing with this guy. So I think that they want to integrate Alphari back into the team, but probably I would assume that the results have just been better with Jenkins internally. So now they're like in this situation where they want to believe in Alphari's talent, but they also want to put like the best team on like the Rift each week. So I think that's the issue that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, and I know this is all conjecture, and I know I put you in this position all the time, LS, so my bad. But yes, that is kind of what I wanted. I wanted to know what could they possibly be thinking, and so I appreciate both of you guys giving me that, because I think from the outside looking in and looking at the facts, I love me some Bobby J, but the team just feels like you open up a whole nother avenue of gameplay and style when you have Alphari in there.
It could just be that Alphari is not used to Liga cards, so I mean that could be a thing that's going on too. If there's inner player turmoil, he could just be getting completely fucking hosed. And people playing politics better behind the scenes. I mean that's a genuine thing.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
Could be that is another situation that could be brewing over there at TL. Yeah. We won't know until they give us one of those Jersey Mike checks. There we go. Got it. I knew I could get there. Like the Bud Light Cooldown. All right, so we got a couple questions here. I don't know if you know it, but I'm interested in this, but I don't know if you know it. Any thoughts on the amateur orgs beating academy teams more often? Is this signaling a turn for NA amateur and NA talent coming on up if amateur teams are beating them? And I know, LS, you've had a couple of thoughts on players going with amateur teams with looser contracts and getting locked into an academy contract. Yeah.
I mean, amateur and academy, I think signing contracts... It's a huge. I'm trying to think how to phrase this. I gotta be real careful here.
Oh, then don't worry about it. I don't want to get you in trouble. I'm just
okay. Yeah, all right. I'll pass.
Dom, thoughts?
About like academy and amateur like contracts, like signing the players or whatever.
No, just the amateur players are beating academy. Is that a sign like, hey, this is good for NA talent, or is this?
I just think that what people realized over time was that like amateur in general is not necessarily a bad option if you are a player that wants to be signed in the future to like an LCS team, right? Like let's say you're a player like Solo. Why are you gonna sign an academy and put yourself in contract prison where people are aware of your existence, like, and you can just play amateur or do nothing and just like field opportunities as they come without having like the massive like downside of being held down by a contract.
The only thing that I can say that maybe my stance has changed on this over the last few months is with the trajectory of Pro League of Legends in LCS being as flimsy as it is, with like roster swaps and academy and everyone's getting thrown around, as well as like all of the talks of doom and gloom surrounding it. Maybe my stance on just like intentionally holding out is not as ideal unless you're willing to go to like another region, but then another region importing from NA is like really rare.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself is a problem.
Yeah, a couple 80 carries actually come to mind to the Latin American region. You had Evan RL play for Havoc Toys. He was actually the all-star for Latin America the year that he played, and then currently I think you have Airy, formerly of Flyquest. He's in Latin America as well. They got second place. They weren't quite able to get over the hump. But yeah, so maybe NA is now less of importing and more exporting if that's an opportunity for you that you want to make for yourself and you don't want to go through the North American system. Last one we'll throw in there. Dom, you're the LPL connoisseur now. It is the cure for LS and the cure for bad League of Legends. Someone asked, do you think Bilibili Gaming and World Elite could beat 100 Thieves right now?
I mean, those are two, like, for context, those are two, like, around 10th place, 11th place skill level teams. I would assume so, just based off team cohesiveness. I think it really depends when you talk about situations like this. Whether you're talking about, like, you take 100 Thieves, you put them, like, in China and you have them scrim and they get to like be in that environment and then they get to like improve and figure out like how people are playing. Or if you just like fly them right now, you take 100 Thieves, you take BLG, send them to Iceland. Oh, I mean, well, at Worlds, you still get to scrim, right? Like, you don't get to just, like, play an official match. If they play an official match, I think BLG and W would just shit on them. I mean, like, you see how bad Someday's laning is, right? Like, Someday has horrific laning. Like, it's so bad that it's almost laughable. Like, these matchups that you'd expect him to be able to have mastered, like, Gnar Renekton. How many times have we seen Gnar Renekton? What, Fake God just killing him, like, level 3 easily from the Renekton side of it, where it's supposed to be a Gnar favored matchup where Gnar can, like, stonewall the early game and then it becomes unplayable for the Renekton around, like, level 9? He's losing that lane, right? We see him just getting clapped over and over again in so many different lanes. You can't put a guy like that against Breathe. Breathe is going to bend you over. Like, it is just doomed for you. So, yeah, I mean, I would take World Lead in a heartbeat. BLG would be a little bit closer. I think that'd be more of a toss-up, but W would smash him into the floor.
All right. There you go. We got all the gotcha hypers in the chat after that description of what would happen. Y'all, another episode of Facecheck in the books. Upset week over. We'll see how young Damonte does. Will the Academy boys of Flyquest be able to continue their ascent? Will Evil Geniuses hit double digits in their win streak? Will TSM finally support their jungler? And will 100 Thieves keep their top spot? We'll find out next week. Dom, LS, what do you guys have for this week? We'll go with you first, LS.
I think I just have the regular co-streams and schedules. I mean, I don't think I have anything too much going on. I have like some YouTube videos coming out. I made some official EDU videos, which I usually don't make those, so it's a pretty rare occurrence. I think I have one coming out tonight.
There you go. Make sure to level up your skill set learning from the church pastor himself. Dom, what you got?
Just doing a lot of co-streaming as normal. We got a huge day of like LPL on Saturday. Saturday is gonna be a crazy day. And then there's also like, I think, what is it? Is it FPX top as well? Let's see. So yeah, Saturday is the day with TS and FPX. Oh, and then it's Sunday is actually the really good day with LNG, OMG, JDG Suning, and EDG RNG all in the same day. So that's like pretty insane. So yeah, a lot of co-streaming.
All right, a lot of co-streaming for them. You can catch me doing the post-game interviews with all your favorite LCS players this weekend. And then we'll be back next week for Facecheck. Again, thank you all very much for joining us. Again, keep sending the good thoughts for LS for his health and his recovery and supporting him. Make sure to go support Dom during the co-streams because he's watching the cream of the crop and then watching LCS. We appreciate all of y'all.
LCS is the cream of the crop.
All right, there it is. Oh, the copium is coming through right now. All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all later. Have a great week. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching VENN Esports. Make sure to hit that subscribe button below and explore our other videos. In fact, click, 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 click on the ones on the screen right now. Right now. Do it.